5 minutes in, we can start, as we will be recording the session, so those who are unable to join us, they can catch the recording. Thank you so much, thank you so much everyone for joining us. We've got Tsepo from Stokvel on the call, and we also have Namasina, who is the chairperson of the Stokvel. And for those who don't know me, my name is Lindile. Thank you so much for spending the Saturday morning with us. And really the objective of the meeting is just to update everyone on where we are at the moment with the Stokvel, what has happened so far, and what the way forward is. So I'm going to hand it over to Namasina to give us an overview of what has happened so far, and then I will then take you through what the next steps will be. Thank you. Namasina, over to you. Do you have... Okay, Namasina, over to you. Let me just mute some of the background noise. Okay, Namasina, do you have a presentation?
Can you hear me, Stindela?
Sorry?
I do have a presentation. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So let me then give you co-hosting rights so you can share your screen.
Thank you. Morning, everyone.
Right.
Thank you for joining us this morning. I'm just going to take you through. Let me just share my screen. Here we go. There is us. All right. So as Lindile have said, today it's a matter of us, as we promised, that by the 6th of November, we'll be able to give feedback. We'll be able to tell you guys what has happened until now, where we're at in terms of the Shesha Stokvel. And then also, this is a decision day to announce a decision that has been taken to say this is where we are in terms of the Stokvel. So I'm just going to do a quick recap of where we started and, what was the goal and so forth, just quickly. So those who started with us on a journey, so our vision was to raise 1.2 million every 4 months in order to purchase a truck. And we have chosen to enter into the mining industry. So we needed a 34-ton side tipper truck to actually buy. So the 1.2 million, it came about, it was not just thumb-sucked, but we worked on the numbers. We looked at what is it that we can do. We looked at the affordability, maybe of people to say, do we buy new, do we buy used? What kind of used do we buy, and so forth. So it was influenced by a number of variants in the work that was happening behind the scenes. And then with that, the vision being drafted and the mission, then the opportunities we identified to say, yes, there is an opportunity. Yes, these are the mines that you can enter into. We started to speaking to also the mines that I'm working with to say, these are the opportunities that we want. Would you be willing, when we have an asset to actually for us to enter, we can leverage on the already built relationship that we have. So the opportunities were secured, and then we started the Stokvel, and then the decision was made that, okay, maybe for affordability, the amount that could be contributed by each member for 4 months. So basically, also what I need to know to the vision was to include any individual, especially those who could not ordinarily afford to invest in the truck on their own and so forth. So thus we looked at how many individuals are going to need to raise a 1.2 and what can be affordable to them. So there was the opportunity, there was the vision. And then we chose a vehicle of Stokvel because remember, it's easy entry because you already have people that are already in that particular sector. And if you're entering as a Stokvel, you're entering as a collective. So the power of collectivity comes in. It's not one person that needs to have the 1.2 and so forth. So we're leveraging on the knowledge and skill of the team that is already in place. So that's the Stokvel route was chosen for this particular one. And then we said the procedure or the process was for members to contribute, and then for the Stokvel to collect the money using a great platform of Stokveler. And then the money will come into, if you remember, we said the private company, because the Stokvel cannot hold assets, then we'll buy the assets, which is a truck. The contract is already there. It's just a matter of cementing it, and then we'll start working from there. So that was the process. And then for us, it was to actually then to say, okay, I just want to go back. I think my slides have just skipped on me here. And then we came back to the members to say the 1.2 could not be doable. We didn't have the 1.2. Was it last month or so when we had our last meeting? We already were sitting at 300,000. We said we don't want to just give up. What do you guys think? Should I give it another go? What should we do? Then at the back, we also look at the different strategies to say, what if we start with the rental option, with the money that we have, how much are we going to need? Or what if we then buy only the horse, which is the head, and then rent out the trailer and so forth? How is that going to work out? Then we did the calculations, looking at also the opportunity that was there. And then we said what we're going to need was 650,000 that was going to be needed for us to access that particular opportunity, to say we're buying only the horse and then we rent out the trailer sitting at 25,000 a month, first month being 50,000. So we look at that, and then along with that, it was attached an opportunity that has been secured, which was giving us the revenue of 285,600 within the mining space. And then after all the expenses was 66,466. So all this work has been going on behind the scenes for us to secure the contracts, to also do the numbers, to look at the feasibility and so forth. So where we are sitting today, we're still not at 650,000 as we had hoped that maybe by the 6th we'll be sitting at. Currently, we're still sitting around, I checked this morning, you'll correct me, Pearson, if I'm wrong, we're still sitting around 310,000. Mind you, many people have also requested to withdraw their monies. So others who were coming in or who were paying the balance and so forth. So they were paying the balance, others were withdrawing. They're paying the balance, others were withdrawing their money. So as we speak, we're still sitting at 310,000. Then with that reality, we looked at the proposition that was made by one of the members to say, why don't we look at the rental option? So we did sit as a team, we looked at the rental option. The cheapest rental option that we could find was 75,000 a month to rent a truck. But then if you look at what we have at 300,000, we won't have operating costs for maybe 3 months to say, okay, we can take the risk because we'll have, the lenient of the 3 months and so forth. And then the question we asked ourselves is that, do we actually want to take that particular risk with your money? So that's the question we asked ourselves. And we said, because remember, with the rental option, we will not be owning the assets, which was the initial plan for us to actually own the assets and then assets that work for us. Do we really want to be reliant on other people to actually be in control of the assets that will be utilized by us in order to generate the revenue? So that's the question that we set with after we saw that we're not going to be able to buy the horse as we have envisioned, to say if we raise the 650,000, we haven't reached there, we're still sitting at 310,000. The rental option is too risky to take that route with your money, where the assets we won't be in total control. I won't feel, good knowing that I'm operating using your money, but with other person's, assets, so to speak, where our vision was to actually have our own assets and so forth. So that's where we are sitting today. Okay, there's a noise there. So that's where we are sitting today. Then we look at those things, we look at the opportunity. So the opportunity was there, guys. If you look at the last one where the revenue was 66,000, but then it's just us not being able to reach the milestone of where we wanted to go. Then we look at what could be the cause of us not being able to reach that particular milestone. We look at maybe the environment that we tried to open the Stokvel in was not conducive at that particular time, because we started a Stokvel in times where people are really do not have the money. Those who have an income, they don't know when they're going to lose it because of COVID. Companies are changing, and so the conditions were also not conducive. Also, with our marketing, we could not do your face-to-face marketing and so forth because of also the conditions of the COVID-19. So maybe the ground was not fertile enough for us to be able to engage better, to market better, to pull in the people better, for them to be able to come and join this. In the pandemic, people become very close when it comes to the money that they have, because they don't know the unforeseen that could happen and so forth. So they're not willingly investors. But you guys, thank you so much, because you trusted us with this particular opportunity to say, we are in the tough times of pandemic, but generating income, generating multiple income is very important. Let's do this, let's do it together. But the matter of fact is we're still sitting where we were last time. We're sitting at 310,000. So Slindile is going to take us in terms of what is going to be the way forward. But before I close, someone might ask, if Slindile, you just give me a few minutes on this one, to say, okay, so this lady has been presenting in terms of logistics that you can enter and so forth. But if you have this particular money around 300,000, what can you do within the industry? So if you remember, when we first started, we looked at the different sectors that the logistic industry can lend you in. We look at the money, construction, retail. We look at also transporting cars, the ports, the oil, even, because it still falls under transports in terms of passenger transportation and so forth. So there are opportunities that you can enter into using that particular money. But if you're looking at the mining industry and you want to buy a truck with 300,000, because you need a double diff truck, you're going to get a very bad investment in terms of the truck. You can get a truck, but it will spend more time in the mechanic's workshop than it does on the road, and it will just give you problems. So the risk with the money that we had, we could not use to enter this particular industry. Believe me, I've been there when we started, also had little money, so we're buying, second hands that costed less, and it was just a nightmare. So the nightmare that we didn't want you guys to have. We need a good second truck, a reliable second truck with the reliable brand and so forth. But you can be able to enter, if you want to enter into the transport business in terms of passenger transportation, you can, with 300,000, you can get a new car, for passenger transportation. So you are within the transport industry. Within the construction industry, you can get a second hand in terms of the back tippers, but also you need to have your strong mechanic, because they will sell you an old truck with that particular money. And then with the ports and the car transports, sometimes they use a single diff, which are much cheaper than the double diff. In the mines, they need the double diff trucks because of the heavy of the material that you carry. You don't want your truck being tipped over on the road and, falling and causing injuries on the road. But with the ports, they normally use your single diff, which are much cheaper. You can get a second hand of the single diff to enter into the ports, and also to carry cars. Some companies, they do. So these are all the things that we look at. Well, in my company, when we sit at the person that want to enter into the space, to say how much we have, and then we look at the industries that are there, and then we advise which is the safer entry. But with the money that we have, we could not take the risk with your money and to enter into the industry that we wanted to enter in, because it was just going to be a mess and risky. So what is the way forward? I think Slindile is going to take you guys to say, where are we sitting now and what would be the way forward? But thank you for trusting us, guys, and for being part of this particular opportunity. And yeah, I think we're still going to engage further. Slindile, over to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Namasina, for that update. So yeah, guys, this is a very somber day in a way that, we feel that we have not reached the goals that we wanted to. And so we are now in a situation whereby we have to, call it a day. So I know that we had said that we would come back and regroup if we hadn't reached the 650,000. That was the goal. But as Namasina has been describing, even if you guys say, let's continue, we don't know when we are going to raise the money. It could be a month, it could be 2, it could be 3. And so really money should be out there working hard for you. So money sitting in a bank or sitting on Stokvel does not serve us. So it needs to be out there in investments or you enjoying it with your family or whatever the case might be. So we don't want it to just sit, being lazy money, sitting around doing nothing. So that is the reason why then we have reached a conclusion to say, guys, I think we gave it our all. The conditions were not right. It doesn't mean that there's anything with the concept or with the industry, as Namasina has just explained to us, the timing thing. But definitely we will continue in the future once maybe the conditions are different, the opportunities are still there, and we may then come back. So I think, as you can tell from what myself and Namasina have been saying, we have decided to rather disband the Stokvel at this stage. As I said, really, because we want your money to be out there working hard for you. There are many other investments that you can look into that can give you a better return than the money just sitting in Stokvel. Even if you want, you can put it in another savings or investment. And then once we launch again, then at least you've got the funds available and then you can rejoin. So that's really the thinking here. So what we have decided to do is that we're going to refund everybody their contributions and minus Stokvel fees, because Stokvel fees are like your bank charges really. So there's nothing that we can do on that front because those fees were actually incurred. So even the non-refundable joining fee of 200 Rand, all of that will be paid to everyone, because we as the executives did not deliver on our mandate of giving you guys that opportunity to invest in the truck. So all of that will be refunded to you guys. It's only fair. So what we will then do is we are going to be processing claims or withdrawal. So you see notifications saying that a claim has been submitted. A claim is basically a withdrawal from the group. Those are the ones that are still in the group, and if it will be paid into your Stokvel wallet. So you'll see when you log on to the app at the top section, it's got Stokvel wallet. So that's where your money will go once it has cleared. And then what you need to do is you need to load your bank details onto Stokvel. So you can either withdraw directly into your personal bank account or e-wallet if you prefer. Then you have to just withdraw cash at an FNB ATM. The choice is yours. What you can also do is, if you belong to any other Stokvel on Stokvel, you can then move the funds from your Stokvel wallet to that Stokvel. There are many others. I won't mention them though. So, but there are many other Stokvels that are on the platform that you can then move the funds to, right? So Utumi is asking a very, very good question to say, what about those who were penalized at 2.5 for earlier withdrawals? So those will also be refunded to your Stokvel wallet. It will also be done. Don't worry, Utumi, we've got that covered. So you will get your full refund back into your Stokvel wallet as well. So if you've already exited the group, please rejoin so that we can be able to make the claim. That's the only way that we can process that claim. So you need to be in the group. So if you have exited the group on Stokvel, so if you have exited, please rejoin so that we can then process your claims. It will be done by end of day Wednesday. I think I've covered everything. Namasina, Pearson, is there anything that I've missed?
No, you've covered everything, Cindy. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. All right, guys, any questions then? Okay, so Tepo, I see Tepo's comment saying that we also tried raising funds with private funders. Yes, we did. We did try and see if we can get institutional funders, like going to the banks and some of the government institutions, to try and see if we can borrow the money from them and then top up with what we've raised. But yo, guys, it's not easy. accessing funding, guys. You know, there's still a lot to be done in this country about funding for startup and small businesses. So yeah, it's an uphill battle, really, guys. And really, the Stokvels are one of the mechanisms that we can use to be able to bypass some of these things that are such barriers. You know, the barriers of entry into these industries are extremely high. And for us to be able to access these industries, it's next to impossible. So vehicles like Stokvels are the ones that make it possible, because to try and get funding from banks and even these government institutions that claim to be for previously disadvantaged, they just, you know, they don't favor us. So it really is difficult, guys. I don't want to lie. All right, I take it there are no further questions. So I think we can give everybody back time into their morning. Tembi is saying sad news. Hopefully the opportunity will still be available in the very near future. Absolutely, Tembi. The opportunities are still there. Logistics are not going anywhere. People and goods need to move. And I think with COVID, that is even more than before. So the opportunities are very much there. It's a matter of just regrouping, and maybe when the conditions are different, and even maybe relooking at even the model that we put out there. So there's a lot of learnings on our side as well. You know, in terms of, you know, what it takes to start and run a Stokvel. There's certain things that need to be there. There's certain things that need that you need to communicate in a particular way. There's definitely lots of learnings that we've taken from this experience. So when we come back and we launch it again, we will make sure that all of that is in place as well, even from our side as the founders or as the executive of the group. Okay. But thank you for sharing the sadness with us. So Tembi again asking, are we to exit all the groups like the WhatsApp until the opportunity becomes available again? I think so. I don't know, Pearson, you can comment on that. What about the WhatsApp group?
All right, the WhatsApp group, they can exit. Perhaps we will, when we regroup, we will, you know, give another option to say this is the channel we'll be using for communication. For now, we'll delete the group. Everyone can just leave. It's fine.
Okay, cool. All right. Thanks for that then, Pearson. I think let's then call it a day, guys. Again, if you've got any further questions, we'll keep the WhatsApp group open so that if there's any issues or questions, you guys can post on the group, and also the email addresses for like at least the next week or two. And then afterwards, we'll then, once everybody has been paid out and all the payments have been cleared, and then we can then terminate the groups and all of that. But we are still available to answer your questions. Okay. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Hi, Slindile. Before you close quickly, it's Tabo here. Yeah, don't be shy to mention that there are Stokvel such as Sakisizo Stokvel that does great work and does great property investments. So yeah, look, it's not everything will work out all at once, but it's all about learnings. And I think when we come back, we'll be better. But yeah, if you're interested in the Stokvel such as Sakisizo, then yeah, be so, go to Slindile's website or meet slindile.com and get to learn more about those type of opportunities. Sharp.
Thanks, everyone. And thanks for the plug. Goodbye.
Bye.
Christina, would you like to say something before we wrap up?
No.
Yes, yeah, no, thank you, everyone. We shall meet again soon.